How's it going, guys? Today I want to talk about childhood trauma, childhood PTSD, things that stem from childhood trauma, okay? And the reason I want to talk about this is just it's kind of been on my heart. I've been having some dreams lately, some memories been flooding back from my own traumatic childhood. I won't get into every detail, but if there's an abuse out there, I suffered it. I spent 10 years in foster care. I had a whole lot of people in my life that weren't my parents because of the situation that I was in. And so there was a lot of perspectives, a lot of influences, and a lot of confusion. But my point today that I want to talk about is because of all the things that I went through, so long ago. It seems like it's been forever, but also at the same time it's ever present. Because I've been having dreams and stuff lately, because memories have been flooding back, because of that stuff, my depression is. It's a little bit harder to deal with. The anxiety is a little harder to deal with, the PTSD, everything like that, because you get stuck in these emotions of what ifs. I'm riding around with my baby right now, and I can't help thinking, as I listen to him talking back there, or whatever, not talking, but making noise, as I listen to his innocence. And I spend time with him, and I do things, to help him progress developmentally and stuff like that. We make sure that he eats on certain times. We're just very, very involved, and it makes me wonder, like, what would have my life been like had I had that treatment from the jump? Had somebody been there who truly cared enough to make the sacrifices, to do the things that are needed to make a child into a well-rounded adult. That's the motivation that I have for raising my kids the way that I do. Me and my wife is just, my wife actually had a pretty good upbringing, better than myself anyway. So it's good to have her perspective, because she knows about all the good things. I know about all the bad things. I can make them street smart, I can give them some edge, stuff like that, but she knows all the emotional things. She knows the things that we need to say, the things that need to be done, stuff like that, because those are things that are taught usually, or caught by your parents. Like, this is stuff that you see and then you understand. So because of those two perspectives, I think that we're raising fairly well-rounded children, and hopefully they will be productive and successful adults. That is the goal. Regardless of what your bank account says, regardless of if you rent or own your home, regardless of just so many things, if your children end up being successful, they end up being content, they end up not having to deal with the issues that I'm making this video about, then I feel like you're a success. Because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters, is what we leave them. And what we leave them has to be more than just money and property and stuff like that. Those things are great, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive for those, and that generational homes and properties don't have a place. They do. I hope to do the same things myself. Look, I'm almost 40 still renting, so I've struggled and I've messed up things, and I still don't have my own home. So I understand, the struggle of people out there trying to afford rent and stuff like that, or not having their own place. I get it. But just because you don't have your own place doesn't mean that you can't make the place you're in your own. And the most important thing is to have a house that is a home, that is a refuge for you, for your wife, for your husband, for your partner, and for your children. That's what a home needs to be. My home was never like that, not until I got adopted later on in life. But the childhood trauma that I'm referring to, it was never like that. For one, we never had the same house probably more than a few months. We had so many different houses. I don't know how they got paid for, because my mom never worked. There was a lot of abuse of substance. There was a lot of abuse of us, and definitely a lot of neglect. We used to look forward to going to school because we could eat, and that's a pretty crappy reason to want to go to school, because I definitely wasn't trying to go there to learn, which I should have, and I didn't realize my potential until later on in life, so maybe I should have paid more attention. But those are things that are hard to recognize as a child. It's hard to recognize your own potential and develop your own passions by yourself. That's where the parents have to come in. That's where, well, parents, whatever, the guardian, the adults in the life of the child have to come in at that point to be able to support those passions, to be able to develop that potential. And then, then you understand what you like. I think I was about 26 when I really sat down and trying to figure out what I like. What is my passion? What interests me? What interests do I have? And it's been very cumbersome, actually, to be able to come up with answers to those questions, because the foundation was never there. The foundation was never there. And it seems silly to complain or whatever it is you might think I'm doing about this stuff, but it really is true, guys. Like, my kids are not grown yet, but I understand the dichotomy of the way I grew up and the way they're growing up, and the difference is incredible. The difference is incredible. They are so much smarter, so much more capable, so much more prepared, so much more stable than I probably am now. I mean, they're like little adults. And it's taken me a long time, taken us a long time to be able to take credit for that and kind of not feel guilty about it like you're bragging or something. Everybody brags on their kids, but I don't know, for some reason, with my past and stuff like that, it's hard for me to take credit for the good things, but it's something that I'm working on. And now that we're getting back to the past argument, I guess what I really want to say today is that if you have a story that's like mine, it's going to be different, it's going to be the same, but whatever. If you have a shaky start to your story like I do, or did, I want you guys to know that it's okay to still deal with it. I'm almost 40. It's been almost, 25, 30 years, something like that, since the last time I was placed in a foster home. And I still deal with those dreams. I still deal with those emotions. I still deal with those things that happened to me as a child. That trauma is still ever present. And that's okay. That's okay, guys, because if you really think about it, it's part of who you are. It's not the greatest parts of who we are, and it's not something we would wish that we were, but that was our foundation. Our foundation was set in sand and all kinds of craziness, and so pain and trauma and a little bit of cynicism, stuff like that, is going to be perfectly natural for people who grew up like us. It's a perfectly natural reaction to an unnatural situation. So, let's break the cycle. Let's break the cycle. If you grew up like me, if you grew up rough, if you grew up whatever, and it's something that you didn't appreciate or something that you knew was wrong or something like that, let's break the cycle. Because that's how we're going to change the world, guys. Listen, we can lock people up all day long. We can send people to rehab. We can do all kinds of therapy and counseling, and there's a lot of services and stuff for adults and stuff like that. And I'm not saying we should stop those. We should continue those, and we should try to help people as much as we can. But if we really want to change this world, it's got to start at home. Because those kids are going to go out into the world, and they're going to take something with them. Now, we can send them out with pain and trauma and stuff like that we were sent out with, or we can break the cycle and do it another way. Me and my wife are doing it another way. My kids are happy. My kids are content. I'm not rich. I don't even own my own home. I still pay rent, and there's still financial struggles sometimes, normal life stuff. So I am not a financial success. But based on the fruits of my tree, I am very successful. I am very successful. My son is going to be a commercial pilot someday. He wants to already go to the Air Force Academy. He knows about congressional recommendations and stuff like that. My daughter wants to start her own businesses and just do anything that she ever wants to do because she's so determined. And we're feeding those passions. We're feeding that fire, fueling that fire. Because if you don't do that, then they're never going to develop, and you're going to end up at 26 like me, trying to figure out what it is you're passionate about. And that's not easy, guys, because as an adult, you just question everything. As a kid, you develop a passion and you go with it because you know you love it. You know you love it. So let's help our kids find our passion, find their passions. Let's eat at the dinner table. Let's change the world at home. Let's break these cycles, and let's understand that mental health issues like PTSD, from childhood trauma, from combat, from anything like that, PTSD, anxiety, insomnia, bipolarism, all that stuff, depression is a perfectly natural reaction to an unnatural situation. And I believe in you, so I believe that you can believe in you. Thanks, guys.